Today's episode is brought to you by Kindle. Great spellers come from great readers. That's why Kindle is the proud presenting sponsor of the 2017 Scripps National Spelling Bee. A single-purpose Kindle e-reader holds thousands of books, ensuring young readers always have a book with them. Features like WordWise support comprehension and vocabulary development, while Kindle Free Time awards achievement badges for reaching reading milestones. To learn more about the ways Kindle inspires a child's emerging love of reading, visit amazon.com/Kindle for Kids. Hi, I'm Mignon Fogarty, and I've been thinking a lot about jobs that can be replaced by robots. It's pretty scary, but it would also be nice to have a break once in a while, or maybe a robot friend. What do you think?
1, 2, 3. Is this thing on? Grammar Girl here. Today we have a quick and dirty tip about why the word explain has an I, but the word explanation does not, and a meaty middle about how to write an outline for an essay.
I like her, but she might need a little more work. And that's probably a good thing for me. Let's start with a quick and dirty tip about explain. Every time I go to write the word explanation, I think it should have an I, like the word explain. You use an explanation to explain something, right? They should have the same root and be spelled the same way. That's what I would expect. Well, it turns out that explain and explanation do share the Latin root explanare, which means to make clear, to smooth out, and to level. And I'll get to why the spellings are different in a minute, but it turns out that explain has the kind of interesting changes in meaning that I find charming and like to share with you. Going back to the 1500s, explain meant to smooth out, like talking about somebody unwrinkling his forehead. He must calm and explain his forehead. That's a citation from the Oxford English Dictionary from the 1500s. A little later, it came to mean to spread out or lay flat. Here's a sample from the 1673 book, Some Opinions of Mr. Hobbes. As the tablecloth is explained upon the table, or as butter is explained upon bread? This meaning also had a sense of making something visible. Maybe think of a map being spread out on a table and then the landscape becoming visible. Explain is also related to the word plane, P-L-A-N-E, the tool for making wood flat and smooth. Cool, right? Those meanings are now obscure, but I love how, on your own, or at least on my own, I'll speak for myself, I'd never think that explain would be related to words for flat or smooth. But then when I see examples of how you can go from laying something flat and smoothing it out, to making something more visible, to making something more clear, to explaining, it all falls into place. I love that. But now let's get back to that pesky letter I. The spelling of explain was originally E-X-P-L-A-N-E, and it morphed over time to become E-X-P-L-A-I-N, like we spell it now, and it gained its I. But explanation didn't undergo the same spelling transformation. Think of it this way. Even though the two words are like brothers, one of the two, explain, was more adventurous, going his own way in the world, while the more reserved son, explanation, stayed home and took care of the farm. The online etymology dictionary says explain, E-X-P-L-A-N-E, changed its spelling because of the influence of the word plain, P-L-A-I-N. Apparently, even words can be corrupted by the influence of troublesome friends. From now on, I'll think of that I in the word explain as a rebellious mohawk haircut meant to rankle explanation, the steadfast brother left behind. And now, before we get to the meaty middle, thanks to our sponsor, Care.com. Sick kids, elderly relatives, emergency visits to the vet. Sometimes you need an extra set of hands, often when you least expect it. And with access to 8.6 million caregivers across 16 countries, Care.com is the world's largest digital marketplace for finding and managing family care. You're sure to find the local caregivers you need, including housekeepers, dog walkers, senior care, tutors, and errand runners. Full-time, part-time, anytime. Care.com can even help with household payroll and nanny taxes. Getting started is easy, too. Just sign up free as a basic member to post a job and view in-depth caregiver profiles that include work experience, certifications, and special skills. Care.com even provides access to a variety of background check options you can purchase to help you make the best hiring decisions. Then, once you upgrade to premium membership, you can reach out to them, schedule interviews, and even book and pay for care online or through the app. Whether you need childcare while you're at work or want to line up a date night sitter, Care.com makes life simpler for families everywhere. And I can tell you that many years ago I had a relative who needed care at home, and I would have loved to have had a service like Care.com. It would have made our lives a lot easier to just be able to search for what we need and know that we could do a background check for the person we were going to have to trust so much with our loved one and in our home. So I'm glad it's available for people going through the same thing today. To save 30% off a Care.com premium membership, visit care.com/grammar to subscribe. That's care.com/grammar. And now, on to outlining. Imagine you have a box full of Legos, but no photo or instruction manual to guide you. You may be able to connect those blocks into something decent on your own, but without knowing the end goal, chances are you'll end up with a plastic clunker rather than a Batmobile. Well, the same goes for writing your next essay. You probably have plenty of ideas, notes, and readings to draw from, but if you don't know what order you're putting them in, you may end up with sloppy results. With essay writing, the equivalent to your Lego instruction manual is an outline. Creating an outline before you start writing not only will make the writing process easier, you're likely to end up with a stronger, more cohesive essay when you're finished. First, why exactly is creating an outline important? Well, it keeps your thoughts organized and will help you avoid repeating or forgetting key points as you write. Second, you'll be getting the most important and difficult parts of essay writing figured out early, creating a thesis statement and deciding on your key points. This will help keep you focused when you do start writing, and it will lower the risk that you'll waste time going off on tangents in your essay. And don't tell yourself, I don't have time to do an outline. Creating an outline can actually save you time in the long run. Yes, it takes time to make the outline at first, and it's not always an easy process, but you'll get that time back later because you'll be able to write the essay more efficiently and make fewer major revisions. To polish your outlining skills, try following this 3-step process. 1. Know where you're going. Don't write a word until you've read your essay prompt thoroughly and noted the key words and questions. This will help you make sure you're fully understanding the assignment and not leaving anything out. Once you feel confident that you understand what's being asked, it's time to review your notes and brainstorm. Before you can start outlining, you want to have a general idea of your main point, your thesis statement, and your primary supporting arguments to back it up. 2. Start with the basics. Plan to include these main sections in your outline as starting points. The introduction, including a thesis statement that summarizes your overall argument and your main supporting arguments. The body, with main points supporting your thesis. Your outline points for the body of the essay will eventually become the topic sentences of each body paragraph throughout the essay. And the conclusion, which should reiterate your main points without simply restating them. Unfortunately, writing in conclusion and then just restating your thesis often isn't seen as persuasive enough. Try to clearly demonstrate how your ideas fit together, or why the argument you're making is meaningful. Consider your thesis, and then ask yourself, why is this important? You'll expand that idea into a few sentences to wrap up your essay. And 3, get detailed. Next, you want to outline 2 or more minor points under each of your main points. These outline points will act as your supporting arguments, and again, can serve as topic sentences for the paragraphs throughout the essay. This is where you'll bring in specific examples, attributed statistics and quotations, and all your other supporting evidence. For the purpose of your outline, list these minor points briefly, But in your essay, use them to show the depth of your knowledge. Outlining these points can help you make sure you're organizing your information logically, which will save you time rewriting or moving sections around later. Once your outline is complete, your job will be simply to weave all the pieces together in a more formal and detailed way. It may not be as fun as building with Legos, but you'll be surprised how much more easily the final essay comes together. That segment was written by Laura Vegman, who's a contributing writer for Varsity Tutors, a live learning platform that connects students with personalized instruction to accelerate academic achievement. Before we go, thanks to the people who told me where they listen this week. Who do we have, my robot friend?
Jalmana.
Oh, I would have said that Jamana, but I'm not sure which of us is right. But she listens while playing fetch with her adorable dogs in her backyard in Beirut, Lebanon. Who else?
Skip.
Skip listens in Bar Harbor, Maine. So now I have to tell you about Maine. Maine is like some kind of mythical place for my husband. I think it's because Maine is on the very far upper right corner of the United States on a map, so it seems remote and elusive. He's never been, but he's always wanted to go there, and I almost planned a surprise trip for him on his last birthday, but I'm a bad planner, so it didn't happen. But sometimes we talk about Maine wistfully. Maine. And we got really excited when we saw a license plate on a car from Maine a few months ago, so I'm sure we'll get there someday. Grammar Girl is part of the Quick and Dirty Tips podcast network. Search your podcasting app for Quick and Dirty Tips to see all our other shows. And don't miss my live AP Style webinar on May 24th. The new AP Style book comes out at the end of this month, and if knowing AP Style is important for your job, this is a great time for a refresher. You can watch it at lunch with your office mates, or